We should be live right now. Shout out to the family. Let me get a little water before we start.
There we go.
Did you talk to your water today, Blue? Did you talk to your water today? Did you program your water, Blue?
I actually did. Yo,
all right. What you got there? What's the gold? That's the gold water?
that gold, when I be talking to it.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's fire.
It knows the assignment.
That's fire. Give him the website for that real quick, bro.
Goldwater.com. GOLDEWATER. Absolutely. I am so delighted to be here tonight. Peace, love, and light to the family. Welcome to another episode of Underground Railroad Black Magic 363. I am your guest for the evening, Brother Blue Pill. This is your host, Brother Rich. Yes, and we are in the building.
Indeed. You know, we got a good show tonight, but there's some things going on in the news. I said, damn, I got to run this by Blue real quick. Before we start, as usual, I got to give a shout out to my brother, King Simon.
Yes, indeed. Shout out to Simon.
In terms of numerology, I mean, there's a lot of, and it's funny. Blue's going to be talking about the roadmap to knowing yourself. There's people on this journey we call life that's here to help you discover yourself, not tell you everything about yourself, but here to help you discover yourself. And this gentleman right here, he definitely does that. He has done that with me. He has helped me with my son. He's gave my son a reading for me. Read my son numbers, my queen. So this brother's one of the best. Always give him a shout out. King Simon, 347-496-1022. Make sure y'all reach out to that brother and get you a reading, I also, real quick before we start, Blue, I want to let the people know I've been telling y'all a while about wait, give me a second. I've been telling y'all a while that I'm putting together a website where the past courses are going to be there. So the website is finally up. So I'm excited to let y'all know the website is up. I want y'all to check it out.
Website is up.
Yeah, it's up. It's up. Black Magic University. So make sure y'all check out. Go to blackmagicuniversity.com. I mean, what's going on is fascinating. I look at all the online universities and like Earn Your Leisure, Wall Street Trapper, Katie Know the Ledge University. There's so many schools that's way better than these traditional institutions. And the world is changing. College is losing steam. Regular school, traditional school is losing steam. People learning at a faster rate online way more than they are in traditional school, and they don't have to be in debt for 40 years of their life. So I got some financial stuff up here.
I like how that look.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you. Billy Carson, Chicago Bitcoin bully. Yeah. We got a lot of I got Red Pills joint up here. And I'm working with educators, Blue, from all over the world to bring their teachings to the website. So I told Blue I got me and Blue 7-day Kundalini virtual workshop we did last year with Panic, Phil Valentine, and Billy Carson, and Hank Rising also. That was legendary right there.
They be asking me about the streets. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. They be asking me about that. So yeah, this is a thorough academy. It's a thorough university, and online learning is a multi-billion-dollar industry, and that is the wave of the future.
So let me just show you. So if you click on, you can learn more about the courses. If you click on it, like I clicked on stock options, you just, then you could see a little video, you read about it, what it entails, all of that. Then you can just click to buy it. These are the files down here, PDF file, glossary file, and 4-hour and 50-minute stock options file. You have these files forever. So I just wanted to get that out the way, let the family know what's going on with that. You know what I'm saying? All right. Back to the show with my brother Blue Pill. But yeah, I'm real happy about that. Me and Blue Pill definitely got to talk about doing something in the future, in terms of a retreat. But Blue man, whew, wow, I don't know what to say, man. Oh, let me tell you this, Blue. Me and your mom's, we're doing a video this Saturday. We're going to the farmers market, and
Yeah,
we're going to Whole Foods on 14th Street in Union Square.
yeah, yeah.
I'm gonna try to do it live. I don't know if I could do it live, but I'm gonna try to do it live.
Yes, that's gonna be
That's all.
legendary.
Yeah, yeah,
That's gonna be
yeah.
legendary. That's definitely her terrain. You know what I'm saying? And she's gonna speak with a lot of conviction and information. You know, key vital information for the family. You know, one of the things that I'm very um, pleased and excited and delighted about, you know, is just the degree to which different members of my family, you know, study and educate themselves. And
Mm-hmm.
my mother has delved so deep into research these past 2 or 3 years, you know, especially what was going on right now. You know what I'm saying? So she got bars. Like she's still learning. She's still adding on to her cachet of knowledge. You know what I'm saying? She's still making herself a better helper. And that is like totally separate of what her sons are doing
Mm-hmm.
in terms of their own research and their you know their activities in the world. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, mama got bars. I look forward to that.
Indeed, indeed. What you think about I just heard like a couple of minutes ago. What happened with the NBA? They said something happened. Dudes is going to jail or something. What happened with that?
Oh, that was something about they was bilking them for an insurance scam or something of that nature. Uh, yeah,
Retired
ironically,
players.
yeah, retired. I didn't delve that much into that particular story. I have seen it throughout the day, but that's one of the like you know I read a lot of news today, and that was one of the stories for whatever reason I just
Mm-hmm.
didn't pretty much click on. Like I have my own thoughts and ideas and commentary about sports at
Mm-hmm.
this particular time. So you know I don't want to come across sounding like sour apples.
I hear
But I
you,
seen
man.
I seen some statistics and they was like, you know, the NFL is experiencing a spike in viewership unlike anything that it's seen in a long time. And I'm like, how quick we forget. You
Mm-hmm.
know, Kaepernick is no longer a national discussion. And look how fast these niggas done ran back, you know, to
Mm-hmm.
football and to a realm that they are kind of like tethered to their daddy, their zaddies into. And I don't want to get into all of that, you know what I'm saying? Because that's one of the things we're speaking about tonight, not to be judgmental, but observations are key. And, you know, I remember when I learned, you know what I'm saying, why melanated people in particular can't put down football. And it was in a very, you know, strategic, you know what I'm saying? Like the setting that it was in was like, oh shit, like this thing goes deep. Like they're really looking at those coaches as replacements for their fathers.
Mm.
You know what I mean? And authority
Mm.
figures. I was incarcerated, and when the white shirts would come around, dangling their keys, it don't matter what happened in the unit. You know, we could have been on militancy prior to that, but they pull up
Mm.
on the gate and they start talking sports, and
Mm.
them niggas get under their deodorant and start acting like children because the coaches or the white shirts remind them of their coaches, and their coaches remind them of their fathers.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? And
Mm.
it's just disgusting. And you know, it's like even what they did with the Jabbington in the NFL, the way that they didn't allow them people to have no word and no rights, showing you specifically that that's a plantation, and our
Mm.
people are sitting up there, you know, championing that BS. So I don't even want to get into it. And then seeing what they was doing with Kyrie Irving, I don't even care about, you know, looking at the NBA. You feel me?
Yeah, yeah.
I'm totally
I'm
dismissive of.
really. It's messed up because I'm a big basketball fan, but I'm really turned off. It's been that way for like 2 years. From the NBA and sports period. It was sad hearing. Did you hear Andrew Wiggins talk about getting a jab in ton? It
Mhm.
was sad hearing. It was sad hearing what he said about how he felt. You know how he forced and all of that. It's like,
They
damn,
broke
man.
him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They broke them, and yeah, that's kind of indicative of what we've seen throughout the entire league. And we supposed to champion and applaud that. There's no need. Like sports doesn't serve a purpose in my life.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? So I'm probably the wrong person to speak on it. It's entertainment. You feel
Hmm.
me? And yeah, I'm not. You know what I'm saying? These are not necessarily days to be entertained. Like, are you not entertained? Like, how much entertainment we got? So I don't even want to do it.
Let's talk about what we came here to talk about tonight,
Yeah.
Blue. The most important topic in one's life is discovering who they are. It's often tricky, Blue, because we join systems and organizations and we develop a herd mentality, and often that philosophy within that system prevents us from discovering who we truly are a lot of the times. So it could be it could be disappointing for a lot of people, this life journey, because they go through the whole thing, they wake up one day, they're old, and they just, they're like, I wasted my life.
Yeah, it's kind of over, you know. And the prior conversation that we were just having, it
Mhm.
even merges into this conversation because I could be like, look, you know, for some of those young men, that can be, they like, look, this is my life purpose. I'm living my life. I came to this planet to dribble a basketball and dunk it.
Mhm.
And then I could look at a lot of majority of the players and be like, well, goddamn, when I look at them post their career, that's not really what they came here to do. That was
Mm.
just a pit stop, you
Mm.
know, in their life, on their journey. And then they retired and be looking to find their lives. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They be looking to
Yeah.
find their lives post career. You know what I mean? But again, that is a personal decision that they made. It's a self determination, and I have to respect it. I just don't want to participate, you know what I'm saying, by giving it my attention or my energy. You feel me? But very well, you know, those individuals, right, may have been born into a construct, and the construct says what? You either sling a crack rock or you got a wicked jump shot. So even gravitating and adapting to sports for them could have been their ticket out of a situation or a circumstance that they didn't feel comfortable in, right? That was them overcoming their odds. That was them being able to provide. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Or that was them moving into an aspirational role of somebody who they aspire to become, because you're looking at Michael Jordan growing up and you're idolizing this man flying through the air.
Indeed, Blue. Just to use a street example, to make this very relatable.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say, they got the BMF series on Big Meech. If you heard Big Meech talk
Yes.
before, he loved that life. He loved that lifestyle. As a person who's into spirituality, you do workshops on Kundalini and all of this stuff. If you ever had a conversation with Meech and Meech was able to tell you, Blue, I came down here to sell drugs, nigga.
I interviewed Meech.
You did?
I absolutely did.
Oh shit. Okay. You and
Me and Majesty,
Majesty. Okay.
when I
Yeah.
was doing street knowledge, that's one of the interviews that's in the vault with the Obama one.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, in so many words, that's what he said.
Wow.
I mean,
See?
he didn't, you know, because he wasn't indicted at that time.
Yeah.
You feel me? So he was still moving through the facade that, however, he was touching his bread. I didn't think that I got specific with him on that, but he was speaking about his role as the leader. He was talking about his
Mm.
role in leadership, and I think that that is what has differentiated him in his realm. And in so many words, I have to say that I looked at him as a leader in his perspective, right? Because he
Mm-hmm.
was able to achieve what most men were not, which was the unification of a consortium of individuals who normally will be going at one another, right?
Right.
And
Right.
they looked at him as leadership, so they was able to put their trust in him as a leader, their lives.
Mm.
Now you're looking at a contingency of people who, for the most part, we could say that these are all alphas,
Mm-hmm.
right? Yo, this person is the Willie in a town. This person is the Willie in a town. This person is the Willie in a town. And they're all coming under another individual who they have given a discretion to say, yo, I trust your direction as a quote unquote leader. Wherever you
Mm-hmm.
taking us, I'm willing to go.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So you're talking about somebody who has profound a profound capacity for quote unquote leadership,
Mm.
but he loved the game. You know what I'm saying? And you become indebted to that thing after a while. And I'm sure that that's the only thing that he knew. You know what I mean?
I guess my question is, Blue. It may sound ignorant to a person who's quote unquote spiritual or in the conscious community if I was to say Meech came down here to sell drugs, or this person came down here to sell drugs. Is that if this is a movie and we all have movie roles, do you see it being that way? Some people come down here and speak like Hitler came down here to do what Hitler did, or
Yo,
Napoleon came
somebody,
down here.
somebody, somebody had to contract to come down here to sell them drugs. Right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying that drugs didn't just start happening in the 80s. So people that died in Vietnam, they, reincarnated. Like, people knew what their assignment was.
Mm-hmm.
You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
Somebody knew what their assignment was and they came down here to execute it. You can have all them drugs and then nobody came here not to sell it. It just don't work like that. But again, that's totally being dismissed of the concept that we have that everything quote unquote spiritual is puritanical, right? And that's the key to tonight is talking about be yourself, right? Having the knowledge yourself. Yo, there's a Christian ideology that we are continuously running around with in our minds to think that our only purpose is to be pious individuals. And I don't believe that that's the truth. You know what I'm saying? I think that some people, pretty much came here to be heroes and some people came here to be villains. And then some people came here to be villains, and then the redemptive aspect of their lives is to put them into the hero role at some point before they check out, or even posthumously, right? So before we even begin, I want to dedicate tonight's program to Elijah Muhammad because he is a man synonymous with bringing a doctrine to our people couched in the terms knowledge of self, right? And prior to that, I do not know outside of, because that's one of the most ancient axioms of all time. So they say you can find it over, the two, the pillars in Kemet, which is what man know thyself, right? That's one of the oldest axioms. Okay, so the latest iteration of it, the way that it has resurfaced in our lives, is called quote unquote knowledge of self, and we have to attribute Elijah Muhammad with bringing that forward, the messenger. And today's his born day. So I'm paying homage, you know what I'm saying, with this crown.
In your personal life, what's like the most what made you tap into yourself the most? It could be a good or a bad experience. That's a relative term. Was it jail? Was it a female? Was it school? Was it
It was a combination of all of those things actually that you just mentioned. Um I'll start first with saying, maybe school was first. I had went to college. I don't think probably was like 94, 95, whatever. I remember I graduated high school in August because I had to go to summer school, and then I had to go to college in September. So I had 2 weeks off. You know what I'm saying? And I got into the college that I wanted to get into. It was a big deal. I went to Brooklyn College, and you had to have a lot of accreditations to go there. It was a very good school. And I got there on the strength of an essay that I wrote because I didn't have the greatest grades, but I had a mean pen game. So the essay that I wrote got me into that school. So again, I felt indebted to perform at a certain, peak. And I was going to school for journalism, right? So this was the decision that I was making to say, what? I'm pursuing something that I'm passionate about, right? I'm already on my course because I kind of know what it is that I want to do. I wanted to become a journalist, right? And I wanted to become a journalist because as a child, I would read all of the hip hop magazines and I would ask the best questions in my mind. And they would never appear on paper. And I'm like, yo, why they not asking Nas his writing process? Why didn't I ask Nas what is his spiritual affinity? These are the things that I just wanted to know. And I would read any and everything I could get my hands on to find these answers, and nobody ever asked the good stuff, right? So my father used to make us read the New York Times, like at the age of 9 and above, right? So I had always had this appreciation for like journalisms and the way that they wrote articles, you know what I mean? So me going to school for that, I was like, look, this is what I want to do. You know what I'm saying? I want to pursue this. But I still had a foot in the streets at that time. And I caught a case during finals. You know, I caught a case December 23rd, 1994. And I had finals right after the Christmas break, but I was locked up. So I missed my finals and I kind of flunked my first semester. They gave me W's. You know what I'm saying? So that kind of threw me off. And then I caught a bid. I had to go away for like a year, something like that. And I come back, you know, get reacclimated again and what have you. I get back in the situation. Long story short, um, around 2000, I I get in a relationship. Now I'm working with Iron Mike, but also I just hosted a meeting at the building for a friend of mine who wanted to start a hip hop newspaper called Four Corners. So now my eyes is like, oh shit, you know, I didn't graduate from college for this journalism thing, but right downstairs, here goes an opportunity for me to be involved in something that I always wanted to do that I'm passionate about. You know, I was running operations up at Iron Mike Management, but that's not what I wanted to do. I didn't want to model. I didn't want to be a office administrator. None of those things. You feel me? I wanted to delve into media, into journalism to some degree. So opportunity presented itself, um, and I remember when I got into that relationship, I had wanted to do something stable in my life, as opposed to because even when I was working at Iron Mike, I had one foot in the street still. You know, I was still doing a little bit of X, Y, and Z, and then getting in that relationship made me sober up, right? Because I felt so compelled to want to be productive and want to be here and want to be in this relationship that I totally became career driven. That I was like, yo, I gotta be a square. I gotta get a non. You know what I'm saying? I gotta do this thing that's not gonna put me in harm's way. You know, I can't no longer play with my life, and I was playing with it. You feel me?
Mm.
So yeah, those things push me towards being firm enough to make a life decision. And that life decision, because it was a sacrifice, bro. It was a sacrifice. Like I used to get paid in penny rolls.
Mm.
Nigga beat me a brown paper bag, you know what I'm saying, with like $500 in pennies.
Damn. Wow. Damn, bro.
Yeah, it's disrespectful. It was pennies and it was change because we were selling newspapers. So that's how the money was coming. It was coming in coins and it was coming in dollar bills. You know what I'm saying? The papers were selling for $1 at first and $1.50. And you know, I was eating, you know, out of tuna cans and shit like that, ramen. I did all that sacrificial shit. You
Mm-hmm.
feel me? But I did that to stay out of harm's way and to maintain, you know, the continuance of this particular relationship, you know, and get better at my craft. So those sacrifices, you know what I'm saying, were very much integral. And that taught me at a very early age, at a very early stage of my life, that if you really, really want something, you know what I mean, you got to be willing to sacrifice. And the shit is not going to be pretty, you know?
Well, we always hear about following your passion, Blue, but I don't know if I asked you this before, but what do you think about following your passion versus being a team player? Because, like, if my family got a business or if my culture, the black community, wants me to do something, I'm like, I don't want to do that shit. I want to, do this, and it has nothing to do with benefiting my community the way they want me to, or benefiting my family business. What advice would you give to somebody in that position?
Again, if that person has an inkling of knowing themselves and their own personal journey does not have anything to do with what they were born into, then they were actually born into that family to break that line.
Mm,
You know what I mean? And I've seen that continuously, you know, where
mm,
there'll be this dynasty and
mm,
this person is great at what it is that they do, but they can't seem to, you know what I'm saying, pass that down to their children. And the business either ends with that person, or, they put it in the hands of somebody else that later on down the line does not honor, you feel me, the same, what I mean, quote unquote, dictates that was laid forth by
mm,
that person. Case in point, and let me scale back some of what I said. Let's loosely talk about maybe even Elijah Muhammad, right?
mm,
Where he couldn't
mm,
pass it down to his son. His son didn't want it. Wallace didn't want it. He had to pass it to Farrakhan. Then the people in the nation who are elders in the nation say, oh, Farrakhan did things in a way in which was not consistent with how the messenger may have left it, right? That he put his own personality into it. What do you expect? You feel me? So we're being led to believe that what a person's personality is going to only be suppressed if I'm passing it through a family member of mine. That family member is only going to run it like how I ran it. Then that's devoid of that entire family member's own personality. Then you're just being a clone of me. You feel me? But at what point does your personality go into it? At one point, can you put your mark on it and put your stink on it?
mm.
So,
Why didn't Wallace want it? I don't know. How come he?
um, I think he gravitated towards the traditional Sunni Islam, Al Islam, as opposed to
Mm,
wanting to stick with, the doctrine that Elijah was bringing with the nation.
mm,
Yeah, I think that was it.
mm. Wow. Let me. So throughout your journey, does food? Do you feel? We talk a lot about health, and I just told you, I'm doing a video with your mom's in the
Yes.
supermarket, and on 14th Street.
Hmm.
Does food have anything to do with a person realizing who they are, their spirituality and who they are, or is food strictly you feel just that's to be healthy and not to be in pain and to live long? That shit ain't got nothing to do with you discovering yourself. Eating healthy, I mean.
It totally does. That was another part of my self discovery. In that relationship that I was in. That's ultimately what led to Seven Heaven and me working with CMOS, which led to me being an entrepreneur. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So food definitely played a role, and I think that based on a person's, personal disposition, how their story is playing out, food might definitely play some kind of role. It's all determined by that person's personal journey.
Mhm.
But mine's, I was in a relationship with a young lady who was eating in a particular way that was making her gain an excessive amount of weight. And when I suggested that maybe the food has something to do with it,
Mhm.
I got chewed out, by her mother, her aunt, her grand. What's up? You okay?
So I just came with the sound effects.
Okay.
I was Dominican sound effects.
Yeah, she was Dominican, so I was like, maybe the rice and peas and the cheese got something to do with that, and the bread.
Mhm. Mhm.
Nigga, don't you? How dare you? All of that shit started happening. So I'm like, all right, since I can't have a voice in this, at least make a lot. Maybe I need to make a product that can help. Let me be quiet and just, what I'm saying, service with the product. So I was attempting to make a sea moss that would make her lose weight. You know what I mean? And my initial plans was to mix the sea moss with the bladder rack. You feel me? But every time I brought a version of it to her, she was like, nah, that ain't it. So I had to go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. It took me 7 years to come up with the recipe for Seven Heaven. But it was, once I got it, I got it. You know what I mean? And once I got there, after all of that, I was like, shit, this is my passion now. This is my business. I'm doing the health. Because in the interim of attempting to find a formula for her, she wasn't, biting. I was giving different formulas to other people, and that was helping them. You know what I'm saying? I remember there was a individual, his father had cancer, you know, and I was able to help. You know what I'm saying? I'm not ever gonna say that I healed his father from cancer, but we was able to put extra months on his life. So that was my eureka moment. There's no other feeling than when you help somebody, and the gratitude factor. You know what I'm saying? When they come back and they tell you that, something that wasn't working is working now. Or, the doctors told my father that he had 3 months to live and he's on his 6th month now. And the only thing that we was doing different was giving him these herbs and this sea moss. So now I was like, oh shit, that's what I want to do. You know what I'm saying? I loved being in service like that. And I was like, I'm gonna be the friend, that makes this food taste good for my other friends that's not into this stuff. You know what I mean? So I can help them. So food plays a big role, in my personal story.
What do you think is one of the main obstacles in today's culture from preventing people to know about themselves? Like, what do you think is like one of the main obstacles? Is it
Uh,
is it social media? What is
yes,
it? You
it's
think
the noise. It's the
the noise, the
noise.
noise.
You know what I mean? There's so many things that are being thrown at you simultaneously. It's like, when do you have enough time to hear yourself? You feel me? And because of the presence of social media, right? One's willingness to fail is even more decreased. Now, in our culture, in our society, we don't reward failure on no level, right? Nigga want to cancel you after the first failure. But in other societies, right, they have made an entire culture out of failing, right? They calling it
Mm,
fail forward. You're allowed to fail forward.
mm,
You're allowed to jump out there, even on a multi-million-dollar situation, and fall on your face.
mm,
And then do it again and fall on your face. And they'll still applaud you and come back and give you the bag. You
mm,
can do it up to 5, 6, 7, 8 times until you find yourself. And your community is there to support that. Ours, you got one time, nigga, right? You fuck this up, and it's gonna follow you for the rest of your life. And now social media makes it where your shit is gonna become a meme. It's gonna become archive, right? A nigga dig up something that you did 30 years ago and try to clown you when you on cloud nine, right? Shoot you off your cloud. So it's like, boom, we have to go back into our culture, into our society, and totally, revisit this whole concept of allowing people the ability to fail on their own terms and not clowning them for it, not shaming them for it, not canceling them, you know what I'm saying, not stepping over them. And we don't come from that. So it takes a truly unique, determined individual to rise up in the ranks amongst us. You feel me? And do what it is that they want to do in the face of the public,
mm,
right? In the midst of all of the noise, totally being the unique version of themselves.
mm. What real quick, somebody asks, can Seven Heaven be bought at the farmers market? You wanna tell them that real quick?
Um, no, we are carrying it down here in Atlanta. Um, it has been at Wadata. You feel me? I still got to get more back up in there. I be falling back sometimes with the Seven Heaven. It's a very tedious product. It's a tedious task. And right now I am, operating and running other businesses. So I don't have the time this particular second. Again, I'm training Bay up. But, it's another story.
Peace to the Virgo Queen. Peace to the
Yes.
Virgo Queen. Yes, indeed.
Virgo.
Yes, yes. Example of what you talking about,
Gang,
Blue.
gang.
An example of what you talking about, Blue. Remember when Nate Robinson got knocked out? He
Yes.
decided to box, and the
Mm-hmm.
whole internet made a big joke about it.
Yes.
And he was like, "Yo, at least I tried." He was like, "I want my children to know, don't ever be scared to try something." So I know
Right.
exactly what you're talking about. People
Right.
don't want
So
to be clowns.
how do we allocate platforms and positions for our children to try or attempt? I don't prescribe to the word try, but to attempt things that are unique to them that no one else has probably even done, or things that, we don't categorically do. You know what I mean? Like, where's the encouragement to do that? A person has to totally be willing to go on a limb, you know what I mean, to do something that they know if they're not successful in it, they're going to get trashed. And I do not know if other communities do that to one another. You feel me? Because I'm not on white Twitter. You know what I'm saying? I don't, my timeline kind of reflects my community. So I don't really know what goes on outside of that. You know what I mean? And I see people from other communities, societies, shit. They can be coming off of their 10th rehab, my nigga. They still got a second, third, fourth, fifth chance at it. You know what I mean? They got the Betty Ford clinics and all of that. I mean, their whole situation is built in where these people can fail and bounce back. Ours, nah, you out with the trash. You know what I'm saying? So I think I got something written down that speaks to that. And that is overcoming the fear of failure, right? But let's talk about overcoming the fear of success. Because the fear of failure is a conscious fear, right? Because we know what it looks like. We've seen the examples and we know what comes with it, right? Yo, damn, son. You know what I'm saying? Like, look at Deontay Wilder. I could look at him as he's preparing for this fight, and he got the whole culture on his back, right? That's a lot of weight. He don't look as confident as he needs to be. Because it's like, damn, are you fighting your fight or you fighting somebody else's fight for the culture? Right? So he has a fear of failure. You dig what I'm saying? And I'm listening to the press conference and dude is like, yo, I'm fighting for my name and my bloodline. You dig what I'm saying? This dude is talking about, oh, I'm straight. You know what I'm saying? I don't need to win. I'm good. So he's talking financials or some stupid shit like that.
Right.
And dude is like, yo, your legacy is on the line, my nigga. Like, what are you talking about? You feel me? You better wisen up. So it's like that fear of failure is something that has not been taught in our community. To be like, yo, you attempted it. You know what I mean? You didn't achieve it. We still here with you. You feel me? Even if you're not the undisputed heavyweight championship of the world, maybe we got to like you as a person, right? Or we respected your opportunities. We respected, your courage to get back in there and defend yourself. You know what I mean? We not set up like that. If you don't win, we don't want to hear from you. You dig what
Who
I'm
would be
saying?
who would be a good example of somebody who failed forward, who we seen fail on the big stage and they bounce back and we like, yo, that nigga's ill what he just did. Like, who bounced back and like that's a great example.
Kanye.
Give me okay. In terms of
Look how many times he
a
has
lot of
been
times. Yeah,
borderline,
right.
canceled and disposed of. And he's always figured out a way to reinvent himself or reintegrate himself back into the conversation. And that space and place in our hearts opens back up and we be like, all right, let's see what the little homie got now. Right? If he could redeem himself, I'm willing to forgive him for his past discretions. So he kind of has a permanent, rubber ball pass with us. He can bounce forward and bounce back and bounce up and bounce down. And we're going to be there until this shit is all said and done with him. You know what I mean? Very rarely do you find an artist like him that has that stay power, where they're
Yeah.
like, damn, you cancel them, you go in the trash, dust them off, pull them back out, you know what I mean? And give him the audience an opportunity to redeem himself and to win your heart back. Right? We have a love-hate relationship with his character. So that's the ability to overcome the fear of failure. It's a conscious process. Overcoming the fear of success is a subconscious aspect that you don't readily realize until you figure out that you self-sabotaging yourself because you're scared of success. You know what I'm saying? I've been there.
Yeah.
I've been there. You know what I'm saying? It's not a conscious conversation that your higher mind is having with you. You really gotta dig. You gotta go into the shadows to get some honesty. To be like, yo, what the fuck is this? You know what I'm saying? Almost like, yo, you like, yo, this ain't even me. What took me over and sabotaged me? Because this ain't even me. And then you get into some, you know, some aspects of self that really have to be dealt with, and you find out you got to do some motherfucking spring cleaning. You know, because there's different things that are subconsciously holding people back. There's different reasons that you have a fear of success. You know what I mean? Some people don't want the responsibility. Some people don't want the visibility, because that visibility might come with exposure, right? Like, oh, you're being exposed to these lights and these cameras. You feel me? I forgot what rapper said it. With them lights, you could see a lot of motherfucking distortions, though. You feel me? So some people fear the grand stage, right? It's too daunting for them. Subconsciously, they won't openly admit it, but subconsciously they're in fear, and then they self-sabotage themselves. You feel me? I think that might be at the root of a lot of people's procrastination.
Yes, I agree. I agree on that one. Yeah.
Real talk. You feel me? So, there's certain things that, you know what I'm saying, we have to honestly visit and look at in our own personal selves. And that is like, boom, are you a people pleaser? Do you go overboard to please people? Right? You need to stop that. Right? Are you somebody, because a person who might find himself going overboard to please people is a person who really needs to be liked. You need that you know, you need that thing constantly. Like, do you like me? Does this person like me? Am I accepted? You know what I'm saying? You need to overcome that, right? Do you have a fear to disagree? Okay, because your fear to disagree now leads to you being suppressive of certain things. So now you're blocking your throat chakra. Now you're doing yourself a disservice. You know what I mean? So a person that finds themselves scared to disagree might be a person that's scared of confrontation, right? You might not have a knuckle game. So these are the subconscious things that are appearing, that are leading you to do things that take you outside of your character. You feel me? And then you become a go along, get along. And then you just part of the party. And very well, you can lose your identity with becoming part of the pack. Right? And that goes against you being the unique version of yourself.
Blue, do you think a lot of the diseases that we see, we mentioned food earlier, come from people not following their passions? And I asked that because I remember I just read an article. It's an old article, but I just reread it again, saying that the majority of people die on a Monday. A lot of people die on a Monday when it's time to go back to work. So they're like, that's like, Monday is dreadful for a lot of people who have
For
a
a
nine
lot
to
of
five.
people, yeah.
Yeah.
Monday
So
represents a
can you
very
attribute disease to somebody living a life they don't really want to leave? And
absolutely. I mean, we could just go to the number one leading cause of death in this country, and it's heart disease. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
And I've shared this slide on my page, numerous of times, and it shows heartstrings. You know what I'm saying? And these heartstrings can definitely be damaged by a person's emotional state. A broken heart is a real thing. So
That's
people are
facts. Yeah.
definitely out here dying from broken hearts, unfulfilled lives, right? And what does an unfulfilled life look like? Yo, I did not complete my mission. I didn't do what I came here to do. I wasted time. You can't get that time back.
Mm-hmm.
So how does a person reconcile, yo, I wasted time? You feel me? The shit you don't reconcile it, at least a depression. You know what I'm saying? And stress kills, right? Stress, anxiety, and depression. That's the other side next to the standard American diet, right? So that side kills you, and then standard and stress, anxiety, and depression kills you. You feel me? So in this particular demonstration, you can't get a break, right? Because if one thing don't kill you, the other can get you. And then one thing might even lead to the other because the standard American diet will definitely lead to stress, anxiety, and depression, right? Case in point, one of the other leading candidates of death in this country is obesity, you know, and all of the pre existing conditions that are being spoken of in public now can be attributed to some level of obesity, you know what I mean? Or unnecessary stress on the body. So all of these things, you know what I'm saying? All of these things definitely play a factor. People are definitely eating themselves into graves, you know what I mean? And this whole aspect of not feeling as if you are living a life that's fully fulfilled, you know what I mean? And you're not maximizing on your mandate of why you came here. Yes, that is taking people out categorically. You know what I mean? And we can speak to or look at the spike in depression. That conversation and that story just came out with Facebook, right? That they said that they were suppressing the information about the teenage girls in particular, and how stress, anxiety, and depression was leading them to have what? Higher rates of suicide, right? Because again, social media becomes this lens, right? That now you're making comparisons of yourself against people, who are photoshopping doctored or what have you. And then if you also make these mistakes, which come with what? Growing up in life. I mean, what teenager's not gonna make a mistake? But now is digitized, it's posterized. You know what I'm saying? It's not going anywhere. It's part of your dossier. It's gonna follow you for life.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? That is becoming too heavy of a weight for people to shoulder, and they're caving in.
Mm-hmm. Give me once again, family. I'm live with the brother Blue Pillar. We about to reach the 1 hour mark. Give me some questions, family. I'm gonna start to take some questions from the family. I want y'all to take this topic serious. I know it's not as salacious as the gossip that you hear all over the internet, but it's something indeed that we need to be tapping into, and that is the topic of learning who we are. And that could be, boring for a lot of people. Some people don't want to
Yeah.
be in solitude. But give me some good questions, family, so I could ask the brother Blue Pillar. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. In the meantime, I'll go through some of these notes that I have,
Mm-hmm.
and as unexciting as it may seem to some, we are all here as part of this community, that is called a conscious community. And consciousness means awareness, right? And what can you be more aware of than yourself?
Mm-hmm.
So everyone that's a card carrying member or not a card carrying member of this community, you know, this is your personal assignment to know
Mm-hmm.
yourself and to be able to identify yourself to yourself, not to me, not to Brother Rich, you know what I'm saying? But it's like, boom, do you have a operative understanding of who you are and what you are and why you are? You know what I mean? So all of these things, all of these conversations are very necessary, and you can spin around the block. and be entertained by this over here and that over there, but you still gonna come back to that main question,
Mm.
right? Who are you?
Mm.
You feel me? And why
Mm.
are you?
Mm.
So we just want to give you some of these pointers and these tips,
Mm.
that we have utilized to find out some of these answers for ourselves,
Mm.
right? So, you know, I want to share a what is this? Um, these are some instructions that people can utilize, right, in their own personal journey to find out some of these answers for themselves, right? So one of the main things that we want to arrive at is finding out in our own personal space, what are you passionate about, right? Because when you find out what you're passionate about, that is going to bring you that much closer to what your purpose is. Okay, so those two main themes are the directionals in your life that you need, right, to get to where you're going. Passion and purpose, right? One of the ways that you can attain that, okay, is that you want to get yourself a book, right? Get yourself a journal or what have you, and start writing out your lifeline, right? Or your life timeline, should I say. You feel me? And your life timeline looks like one column is speaking to directly your list of accomplishments. What have you accomplished in life that you're proud of, that you can speak of, that you can stand on, that you consider an achievement, right? You make that list. That's one column. Then you make another list, right? What are your aspirational accomplishments? What are the things that you want to do in this lifetime? What do you see yourself achieving? You feel me? So you draw those two things out, okay? You draw those two things out. And then you also list what are the negative things that you have experienced in your past, right? And once you list the negative things that you experienced in your past, then you have to deduce what have you learned from those negative experiences and be honest with yourself, right? Again, this is not a test. It's not going to be graded, and it doesn't necessarily have to be seen by anybody else. This is for you to see yourself, right? Because I got this whole understanding about life, you know. And again, that is the fact that, there's so many aspects and versions of you that fit inside of this body that we have to discuss, right? And delve into that. Okay, you have this physical frame, you have this body, you have this vessel that has an intelligence all on its own. It has already been pre-programmed. It knows what to do without you telling it, right? Let's say it has the intelligence of the creator endowed in it. And then you have your mind, right? That is not corporal. It's not connected to this body. It is the process, or it is the mechanism that's responsible for you coming up with quote unquote decisions, right? It is the fulcrum through which you receive what's called thoughts, right? That's how you are able to channel and funnel these particular thoughts into this realm and this dimension, right? Thoughts don't come with your body. Thoughts are not something that we can grasp and identify here. You feel me? That's something that's coming from beyond or what have you, and you're utilizing, the brain as the particular device that is able to filter these things through, right? How do you integrate them things, right? Because the mind is making decisions that are not necessarily something that the body has dictated it to make. The body got to live with the decisions that the mind makes, right? And then the mind, or the body for that matter, is accumulating, all of the hits and the blows from the decisions that the mind makes until it can't anymore. And then it has to send a signal to that shit like, look, these series of decisions that you made have put me in a predicament where I can no longer function to my optimal ability. You're going to have to go and get some reinforcements to put them back in this body so we can go through repair and You know what I'm saying? Sit you down for a second so I can show you some things. You know what I mean? And then you sitting down and some shit might come on TV. You know what I'm saying? You might hear something on the radio. Book might fall out the book. So what did that? Deny spirit. That's something totally different. Right? So there's all of these things that are taking place around us simultaneously that we're not cognizant of. You know what I mean? And they're independent, but we have to find a way to integrate them and make them function all together so we can experience the beauty of what life is when all cylinders are running the right way, right? You are superhuman. You feel me? And we just talking about you just maximizing your human experience first and foremost before you get to your superhuman experience, right? We still trying to get up out of the animal stage. You know, I mean, these conversations about getting up off all fours first and foremost before you can fly.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Facts.
right? Superhuman mind. You feel me? There's so much in you. You dig what I'm saying? There's so much in you, but we got to take care of the basics first and foremost. So, what did you, again, being honest with yourself, allowing you to see yourself. You feel me? Allowing your mind, allowing you to see yourself. Oh, shit. I did that. That was based on some decisions that I made. Like, yeah, nigga, you did it. And that's one of the main things, right? The only thing that's going to move this thing forward is if you learn how to take responsibility. Because nobody else is responsible for the decisions that you make but you, right? So no one else is responsible for the repercussions of those decisions that you make but you. So this is going to take you out of victimhood. You know what I'm saying? This is going to allow you to grow, right? Whether you consider it a bad decision or not, you feel me? You still got to be honest with yourself. And then that will open up the ability for you to learn and repair from those decisions that you made that probably, didn't serve you or your body in your best interest in the long run. All right?
Let's get to a couple of questions from the people because I seen them coming with them in the chat.
Okay.
Shout out to the chat, man. I seen y'all coming with the questions. Let's just start. Let me see. Where do I want to start? How do you break social anxiety?
All right, social anxiety looks like what
Not
exactly? When you
not
go out in public,
Yeah, you can't, you don't know how to interact with
you feel
people.
like, okay, socially awkward.
Yeah. You get in crowds and you feel awkward when you in crowds on, around a lot of people at dinner. You want to get up and leave before everybody else, I guess. Let me see if how do you break?
Hmm? Yeah, okay. So, social awkwardness, again, I would say that you have to first start with self. So you have to ask the very difficult questions, right? What is making me feel awkward in public, right? What is making me feel awkward in social settings? Do I not like people looking at me? Do I feel people are looking at me when they might not necessarily be looking at me? You know what I'm saying? Am I experiencing some level of not psychosis, but paranoia based on the fact that, you feel very uncomfortable and you think eyes are on you that are not necessarily on you?
But not even that. Sometimes, like even with me, I love being around people, but sometimes you can be sensitive. Like with me, I get drained.
Right. So,
easily.
right, we have to keep that in focus as well. People are very empathic, and being in social settings can make them awkward because they're feeling, right, the abundance of feelings that are in those settings. And people in public wear a lot of masks, but subconsciously they're feeling a particular way that might be throwing you off, or you like, yo, something don't match. Everybody got a smile on their face, but why I feel so why am I picking up people's anxiety? Why am I picking up people's depressions? Why am I picking up so many conversations in my head? You know, um, what will be an answer to that again? You know, outside of you sitting down with yourself and investigating in your own personal space, is there anything that's making you uncomfortable that you directly can deal with? And if not, you know, I would recommend that you might want to go outdoors or outside with them noise canceling headphones on and just not be in too many crowds. You know what I'm saying? Public open settings are not for everyone.
I would recommend, because I just had this conversation not only
Mm-hmm.
Raven but some other people in that same setting. It's like we all have
Speak
that
up.
same issue. But what I took from those conversations was to find something that where you could basically like ground yourself or recharge yourself. Because like sometimes I'll be out in public and I'll feel bad because I'm like, damn, I don't want nobody to feel like I don't like them. But sometimes, after you smiling and having little conversations with 10 plus people, it get tiring and
Yeah,
overwhelming
yeah.
after.
And
So
I've
you
been
got,
going through that post pandemic. I'm not the most social person anymore. Because I spent a lot of time away from crowds of people. And then this year, like the transparency factors is like 1,000% more. So he's like, I don't want to be around these niggas. So I find something, yeah, like I find a tree to hang out around or something like that. I just find something that's going to take my attention away from peopling. You know what I mean? If it's not necessary. Um, yeah, because it's like the smiles is fraudulent, the handshakes is weak. You know how to be like the handshakes ain't matching the smile and all that. So yeah, I'm I'm I think I'm becoming socially awkward as well. You know what I mean?
Let's get to the next one. They want to know. Lamar Lewis wants to know. Please speak on how lying to yourself stops you from becoming your true self. I know a lot of people that suffer from this lying to them. They lie so much they don't even know who they are anymore.
Mm, mm. One of the next things that I was going to speak about is being able to distinguish your thoughts from others. You know what I'm saying? And finding your own unique voice. You know, your ability to find out, you know, again, are you being your true genuine self, or are you only showing up to benefit the self-interest of other people because you want to, fit in? So why would somebody be lying to themselves? You know what I'm saying? People categorically lie to themselves because they're either suppressing something and they want to fit into a social order, you know what I'm saying? And what have you, right? They want to belong places where they don't necessarily belong. And then again, some people are suffering from those subconscious doubts, you know what I'm saying? Or what they call FUD, fear, uncertainty, and doubt. And then you start lying to yourself. You know, um, when I think about this whole aspect of society, and again, us not allowing the space for people to fail, us not allowing the space for people to rebound. You feel me? Everyone has to put on a facade and wear a mask because you have to be dynamic in public. You know what I mean? You got to be a dynamic speaker. You got to be this. You got to be that. You feel me? So a lot of people are lying to themselves and putting these masks on because they want to be accepted. They want to fit in. You know, um, the thing that you should practice with that is getting in the mirror and looking at yourself. And it's like, can you lie to yourself really? If you're looking at yourself, if you're looking in your eyes, and you still telling yourself lies, right? You might need counseling at that particular point. You know, you have to be practice. You have to start practicing being honest with yourself, if nothing else in the mirror, right? And then your conscience kind of kicks in, and that voice becomes a lot louder when you find yourself now outside telling those lies in public. It's like, nah, nigga, stand on your truth. See what you get out of that. See what sort of reaction and response you get from speaking on your truth and doing you. So that's what it is that you should practice. Spending a lot of time in the mirror with yourself, talking to yourself, calling on that big homie voice. I speak about that often. You know, that big homie voice ain't gonna lie to you. It's gonna be very stern. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna speak in a very authoritative tone. And you more than likely are not gonna like what you hear. But the big homie voice is not gonna allow you to go out there and lie. And definitely not lie to yourself.
Indeed. Indeed. Dave wants advice for a high school basketball coach leading young men. Any advice for Dave, Blue Pill?
A high school coach leading young men, right?
Yes.
So automatically we know, especially if you are in melanated communities, that again, like I said earlier, you're probably like a father figure, right? You're probably like a father to these particular children who, if they not have not had male influences in their lives, you know, they probably don't even know how to have that level of respect um initially for you. So you got to make connections with them. You know what I'm saying? You have to know these students on a personal level and connect with them. You have to identify in that group, who is quote unquote the leaders amongst that particular group, right? And you have to pretty much, you have to galvanize the leadership, and the leadership is going to pretty much help, you know, with what it is that you're doing with the rest of the youth in that clique or that particular collective. So personable connections and relationship with these young men. You can't be a father to all of them, but you can be an authoritative leader. They're looking for leadership. You know what I'm saying? They're looking for somebody that's going to help them with decision making. And as team players, it's going to all come down to decisions. So you have to be one of the best decision makers, coach. You have to be the example that you want these young men to emulate and follow at the end of the day.
All right. That was excellent advice, my brother Blue Pill. This is Blue Pill giving y'all therapy today. This is some therapy from Blue Pill. All right, go ahead, Blue. Go ahead.
And one of the best ways, again, therapy is only me speaking to myself. You know what I'm saying? It's only me speaking to myself out loud at the end of the day. You know, I'm putting myself in these particular positions. I'm thinking about how I've been in positions to correlate to some of these questions, and
Mhm.
I'm pulling from that space.
Young Grandpa wants to know, how do you feel about celibacy? I get, I
It's
guess,
it's
in
it's
yeah.
a it's yeah, it's a double-edged sword. You know what I'm saying? Because again, once again, we are social creatures. Um, but I'm an advocate for celibacy if you find it necessary that you need to work on yourself. You know what I mean? Because that's something that we don't do. That's something that has not been advocated amongst us as melanated men in particular. You know, me case I take myself once again. I was in relationships from the age of 14 to 41, nonstop, right? I didn't take any breaks. I went from one to the other. I always had two on the back burner. So, at the advice of elders who were witnessing me coming in and out of relationships, they was like, you need to take a year off. You know what I mean? It was the hardest thing that I had ever done, but I had to do it. It was necessary. And in that interim of me taking a year off, yes, I was celibate. You feel me? Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah. So it was it was a necessary sacrifice. You know what I mean? It had a lot of benefits, but it was a struggle. Um, I and there's a lot of conversations about ejaculation in the community, and that's a whole nother discussion. I have attempted that as well, and it brought me to a lot of realizations that I don't hear enough people being honest about. You know, you that is a masterful demonstration. You know what I'm saying? That's not, we talk about it in our community, and when conversations in our community like that take place without stressing the discipline factor that goes into it, I don't be believing niggas. I'm like, you ain't do this because, you know what I mean? You will speak about some of the things that the rest of us have run up against. The fact that you find out that, the women are very insecure if they don't get that seed. That's what they there for. So when you holding that shit back, you're taking something away from them, and some of them might turn violent. Okay,
That's facts.
but you're messing with their whole, you know what I mean? What it is that they fit, how they identify themselves as women. So there's a psychological factor that goes into this that I don't hear nobody talking about. So I'll be like, y'all niggas ain't do that. You know what I'm saying? You ain't even read the Montauk Trio book. Stop playing.
do
But
do do
yes,
you? Yeah, good. Look.
again, for the young brother, I do advocate celibacy if you're looking to reset yourself, regenerate your sexual energy, cleanse from past relationships. You still need to cut cords, right? You have some things that you have to deal with, especially if you had emotional breaks in which somebody may have been damaged from a break. You need to sit yourself down for a second and figure out, what is the what's right. Observe the repetition. Are there things that are happening in relationships that are repeating themselves? Is there a level? Is there a continuance? Right? You need to self-investigate. Right? You need to self-investigate and find out what role are you playing in these continuous, you know, failed relationships, my nigga. And then that requires celibacy. Because the last thing you want to do is impregnate somebody with conflicted sperm,
Mm.
right? Or toxic sperm.
Shout out to Kafunya. Kafunya's in the chat. Shout out to the sister
Yo,
Kafunya.
she's the one that told me I needed a break.
Woo! Ain't
Shout out
that
to
wow?
California.
Wow. Wow. Shout out to Kafunya. I didn't even know that, and I put her up there. I didn't even know that. So that's
Yeah, I mean,
that's the
that's
energy
spiritual.
working. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
the spirit working right
I mean,
there.
because this shit is real, right? We're being very transparent and open. So, this is how energy moves. But
Indeed.
yeah, I love Sister California. We need responsible eldership in our community that can give us advice. You know what I'm saying? And that's what elders in the community is supposed to be there for. They are the council. And they see things that we don't necessarily see. And they give the elderly wisdom, the insight. Wasn't nobody in my age group telling me nothing like that.
Nah, you ain't gonna hear that. Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. All right. All right. So Krista Queen says she's a single mom raising a young black son, 9 years old. Any advice for Krista Queen?
Mm. You are raising a young king, you know what I'm saying? Um, that is coming up during a very precarious time when, you know, they are out here, you know, attempting to dethrone the kings. So I would say establish a very strong personal sense of self-awareness in that young man, you know. And look, let's go back to the beginning, right? Let's just trace our steps from the beginning. If you have the capacity to do these things for yourself and your children, these are the things that I would recommend that you do, right? Because I can't help but notice, right, when people tell their life story, it always emanates from their childhood, right? They either got this shit right in their childhood or they didn't, and they're living that out in their adulthood. So one of the most important things that we can do as parents, especially with access to the tools that we have today, is to get the information for our children at the earliest of ages and prepare them. Okay? When we were born in a particular society in antiquity, if you will, everyone had their prescribed roles and assignments, right? They would have village elders that looked at that baby and they'd be like, this is what this baby is going to become, right? Shout out to Brother Panic. I heard him speaking on this on his last tape, right? When he was speaking about the fact that, it was already ordained what it is that you were going to do. If you were born to be a blacksmith, they put you in the blacksmith section. And that's how you will be raised up. You will be raised up around elders who are going to teach you the skills of the trade. So when your time, you know what I'm saying, and you passed your rites of passage and it was your time to step into your role as a man, right? You would have already been trained up. So everybody had their respective lanes. How do we ascertain that information in this particular day and time? I would say get you a reading when that child is born, right? Get the astrological birth chart done by a reputable astrologer, right? Who you can trust and who knows how to keep your information, private for the most part, right? Go to somebody such as the King Simon that could give you a numeration reading and give you as a parent the initial insight, right? The vision that you need to say, I'm going to look out for these things in this young child while this young child is coming up. Now, this young child might want to do certain things experimentally, like, oh, I want to get into sports. Oh, I want to draw. Oh, I want to play instruments. And the reading could say that the child is, ordained to probably be a doctor or something. You feel me? You allow those things, but you always, you drop bits and pieces of information and crumbs that's going to lead the child to meeting his future self, right? And what does that look like? Oh, you can walk them past a store, and or something that has a display of, and this is a bad example because I'm not feeling doctors right now, but this is not my story, so I'm gonna still share it. You might walking past an advertisement where somebody got a white coat on. You know what I mean? And the child shows a particular level of interest and things of that nature. And then you just start feeding that curiosity however best you can until the child might be of age that, there is a particular program in the junior high school or the middle school that kind of, brings the child into the fold of learning about his trade. And you're just introducing that child to himself on different levels based on the information that you're working with. If you have not been able to ascertain that information, you know, then you just need to sit with the child and just become a little bit more familiar about what it is that child might possibly be passionate about. And I don't know if parents can ascertain that at the age of 9, 10, or 11 from a child. Some parents can. You feel me? Like I said, I was getting trained up from 9, you know, to be around academia, to be around, you know what I'm saying? Um, my father's an English professor, so to be around anything that dealt with literature and stuff like that, right? Whereas with my mother, I was around that since the age of 5, but I wasn't being trained up or being told this is what you're gonna do when you grow up, but I was around it, so I had a reference. You know what I mean?
Blue, they want to know. OG Ma wants to know, how does one navigate in today's society where we're being forced to do something that we may not want to do in order to survive?
Okay, I'm guessing that I know what you're talking about, right? And you know, I wish I had a uniform answer for that. You know what I'm saying? Again, that comes down to the individual identifying what is their passion, because you may have been working a job and that was not your passion, that was just your job, right? So this can be a blessing in disguise, just pushing you towards your passion. So my answer to somebody such as that, I would tell them, go live your life. right? Get them people them shackles back and go live your life. But then what? You got to have faith over fear, right? To step out and be like, oh, I'm passionate enough about this. This is my purpose, and I'm gonna step out on faith. You feel me? So that comes to you consecrating in your own personal space. I'm gonna rise to the occasion, right? And once you make that particular determination, things will start magnetizing towards you that's gonna help and assist you in that process. And look, there's no better time to do that than right now. And when I mean right now, I mean specifically right now. Why? Because we are still in the throes of new moon energy, Libra new moon in particular, and all new moons, right? But this one's specific, right? All new moons about resets. They're about what? Programming the universe with your intention to start anew, right? So this is a perfect time for people who have walked away from situations because they felt like they was between a rock and a hard place. It's a perfect time for them to start fresh, right? But they have to have some idea about what it is that they want to get into. Why? Because that's going to go into them writing out their intentions. And if you're in the audience tonight, before you leave, or not necessarily before you leave, before the night is out, you are all going to write out 10 invocations, right? To speak specifically to what your passion and your purpose is. And before this program ends, I'll give you some of the the criteria that you need to put into those invocations.
What's the invocation for those who don't know, Blue?
An invocation is a commandment. It's you commanding and demanding of the universe to give you what you want in a very affirmative tone and voice. And how that tone of voice happens is we're not necessarily speaking it to the universe first and foremost. We're writing it down. You know what I'm saying? We're writing our spell, right? We're spelling it out. I'll give you an example, right? Case in point, I'm about to finish this book, right? So my invocation will be what? That's the affirmative. Paul Eric Marlin, that's my name. I'm speaking to the universe. They know who I am. I was what? Ordained with that tone of vibration when I got here. Me as, right? Paul Eric Marlin, quickly affirm the completion of Combos with the Cosmos.
Facts.
Right? So the affirmatives quickly, easily, firmly, swiftly. You know what I'm saying? You're going to be utilizing affirmatives like that to speak life into the universe, and the universe was going to reverberate and present you with those things that you command of it, because the universe does not respond to docile, or non-affirmative, it's what I call prayer. You know what I'm saying? The universe responds to a level of firmness and conviction, right? And it's quicker to respond to a command than it is to a request.
Facts.
So,
That's facts, brother. Let's before we continue, Blue, tell the people your website and stuff. I want them to know that before we continue moving forward.
goldwater.com, GOLDEWATER, and also cosmicdust.com, COZMIKDUST.com. Pass me some of them chains. And I got so much drip that I'm putting on there. These are some of my cosmic joints right here. These joints are crazy. You know what I'm saying? And it's a high grade of copper. Like this, your shit shines like rose gold. You know what I mean? very high
Yeah, I see.
vibrational,
I can
all
see it.
hand
Yeah.
carved,
Mm-hmm.
top tier. You feel me? Top of the line jewels. So we got jewelry up there. We have staffs. We got wands. We got clothes. We got stones. You know what I mean? A good assortment of things on cosmicdust.com.
Indeed, indeed. All right, give me some more questions, family. We probably got about 30 more minutes, family. Give me some more questions. Blue's doing a magnificent job answering questions, and helping us to discover who we are on an individual level. We all have different purposes in this realm at this point in time. Hey, Blue, let me ask you personally, do you, as far as discovering yourself, do you ask for advice a lot? Or do you feel as though advice often leads you in the wrong direction? Because I remember one time I heard Kanye say he don't like asking for too much advice. What's your opinion on asking
All
for
right. Well,
advice?
yeah. Let's take right. Let's take some of these steps in mind. Once a person identifies what their passion is, let's say, boom. Let's go back to my passion and say, when I was younger, my passion was journalism and media.
Mm,
Right.
mm,
If I could have found a mentor in that space,
mm,
like one of the writers from the New York Times that I used to always read, um, if I no, let's say I got under the tutelage of Bones Malone, right? That was one of my favorite writers ever. He was
mm,
writing for the source.
mm,
I loved his writing style, right? If I could have had him as a mentor, that would have helped me exponentially. You feel me? Learn certain things that I had to learn on the job. You know, I think that I made mistakes, right? I was learning everything as we were going. And my writing skills was to the degree that I went from a writer to a associate editor to the editor in chief, like, very quick. But now I'm the editor in chief. You know what I'm saying? I don't know everything about running an entire newsroom operation, but I had to learn as we went along, and mistakes were made. You feel me? And we had to learn and grow from those mistakes and fail forward. Um, it resulted in deductions in my pay, which was already, you know what I'm saying,
mm, mm. Wow.
pennies. You feel
Yeah.
me? So I could have benefited from a mentor. I could have benefited from somebody who I could have asked questions of and got advice. So I'm an advocate of that. I would say yes. That if you're learning initially how to master something, if you're a student of the culture, then you should look towards somebody who's a master to get some information and some advice, even if it's something that you just want to juxtapose. You're like, I got the advice, but I didn't use it. Cool.
Mhm.
I decided to go with my own ideas or my own thoughts. I just needed something to weigh it against.
Right,
You
right,
feel
right.
me? So you should seek advice, not even always for you just to use it, but just for you to have something to balance or bounce something off of.
Hmm.
But
Let me.
I do think advice is vital.
All
Mm-hmm.
right, Blue. Let me get to Erin Robertson wants to know how do you make sense of this matrix simulation? Does the law of attraction work anymore? Wow. This person doesn't even know if wow, I mean, okay.
The law of attraction works both ways, right? So you're always attracting, right? So let's say the law of intentional attraction, that's something different. You feel me? Because if a person is failing at something, you're attracting failure.
Yeah, that's facts.
And if a person is successful at something, then you're attracting, the flip side of that coin, which is success. You're always attracting something. You need to
Mhm.
focus on intentional attractions. That's different. And the intentional attraction goes to what? Us being disciplined enough to do the practices that I'm speaking of, like invocations. Because invocations, you're programming the universe, You're being very explicit about what it is that you want, how you want it. The more descriptive you can be, the better. You feel me? And then you're going to magnetize that to you, right? You that those things happen around a full moon when things come into full blossom and their fullness.
Mm-hmm.
But during the darkness of the new moon, treat it like the womb, my nigga. Right? Triple stages of darkness. You are imprinting on the cosmos, which is bountiless, right? None of your dreams are too big for the universe. You know what I'm saying? And if anybody limits it, that's you in your mind. The
Right.
universe is limitless. Pull from that shit. It's a reservoir. You feel me? So, yeah.
Alkebalon was in the chat a little while
Shout out to
ago,
Alkebalon.
and he wants you to talk a little bit about fasting and self-discovery.
Yeah. Ain't nothing like it, man. Shout out to the 7 day challenge and the fastest that he's doing. Again, shout out to my brother, the messenger, you know what I'm saying? The supreme ancestor, you know, because he spoke about the importance of fasting as well. And he introduced it to our people at a time when I'm sure that it might have been a foreign concept.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It gives your body the opportunity to reset itself, and you bring yourself to what's considered that clean slate, you know? And it's like, shit, you know, you putting things on a plate that's already full. It's already heaping with things, and you're constantly piling stuff on and wondering why you're not getting results,
Mm.
right? So you want to bring yourself to 0 point to a clean slate, and then you can start, piling up from there. Um, so fasting is a key component to manifestation, right? Because now you are overcoming. And what are you overcoming? Your weak force. You know what I'm saying? There's a law of thermodynamics to speak about the weak force. You know what I mean? We have to overcome our own weak force. You know, I've experienced this in the gym on plenty of occasions. You know what I'm saying? Breaking through my threshold, right? Mind over matter. The fact that the muscle might want to give in, but it got more in it. What's telling my body that it wants to quit, right? So you're going to get to learn and know yourself in the gym. That integration between mind and body, yeah, it really it really kicks in the gym, right? And I've utilized visualization techniques to get in the last 3 or 4 or 5 reps that my body couldn't no longer do. I had to use my mind to do it. You feel me? And those are amazing, amazing breakthroughs when you understand the strength and the power. You come out of that situation, you're like, oh, the mind is powerful. You know what I'm saying? The body is even more powerful, but that weak force, that shit got to go.
Mm. Indeed. Somebody says, ask Blue, why is history so important on the journey of knowledge itself in terms of perspective?
Because they say that history doesn't repeat itself, but it rhymes, right? So there is this understanding that if we grasp an idea of what happened before, it can serve somewhat as a navigational compass to where things are heading, right? Because, time as cycles are repetitive. So it's like, yo, you might want to look out for that. It's coming back around, right? Especially as is dictated by celestial bodies. When they align and a particular energy is present on a planet, we can expect, based on how we're reading the history, to say when that cycle comes back around, right, it's going to bring that same kind of energy to the planet. So we can either take advantage of that, or we can, be prepared for, you know what I mean? Like how retrograde hit and some people might want to stay in the crib and shit like that.
Indeed, indeed. My brother Cambada was just texting me, pardon me. Got to get Cambada on the show
Bada.
soon. Got
Yeah,
got to get
yeah.
shout out to my brother
Bada,
Bada.
Bada, Bada has an extraordinary mind outside of the booth when it comes to, sitting on his channel and speaking to the people and speaking his mind. Like, he has a profound,
Yeah,
ability to put concepts together.
definitely.
I want to hear more Cambada interviews. Yeah.
And I think that comes from getting the knowledge from nature. You know how Sabe got, he said he was in nature.
Mm-hmm.
Cambada gets it a lot from nature. He doesn't get it necessarily all from books. He gets it a
Mm-mm.
lot from interacting with the plants and everything. So I think that makes it very unique. Stephen Baker, Blue Pill wants to know what are some other practical methods of shadow work? That's good old shadow work, Blue.
I'm gonna give you a biggie, right?
Oh,
I'm gonna give you a biggie.
let's go.
A lot of people are incapacitated by either one past traumas or, let's say a humiliation, right? Let's say a humiliation that might have happened to you when you was in the fourth grade. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Um, you couldn't get the whole way past you shit on yourself, something like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they ain't let you forget about it, right? And it traveled with you through your life, and you grew up and you got a name like Shitty Cuz. So,
Oh man, Blue. Oh man, shitty cuz.
right?
Damn,
You
what a
wanna
name.
you
What a name.
wanna mentally revisit that episode. You feel me? You want to mentally revisit that episode. You want to visualize putting a circle of fire around that incident. You know what I'm saying? And on the perimeters of the fire, you want to envision clowns.
Mm-hmm.
And you want the clowns to have a laugh fest. They're
Mm-hmm.
laughing at you, but then you want to be the one laughing too. So now they're laughing with you, right? You can clown yourself out of certain traumas that are
Mm-hmm.
being that have you hostage.
Mm.
You feel me? Because the only thing that is waiting for is for you to alchemize that situation. And you can alchemize any situation by putting humor on it. So that's a
That was fire, Blue. Where you get that from, man? You came up with that?
now
That's
I didn't I utilized it on numerous occasions.
that's a good one.
I've utilized it not only on myself, but in group practices, I've utilized it and people have been
Wow.
able to I'll give you another one since we at it. I
Mm-hmm.
grew up on a TV show called Voltron,
Mm-hmm.
right? And this is what I do in my personal space, my daily shadow work, because shit still comes up from the crevices of darkness in my mind, right? That I'm not even talking about shadow work where I'm dealing with something from the past that might be suppressed,
Mm-hmm.
right? I might have had some bad weed and I have, bad thoughts to come into my mind and things of that nature. So before something can become crystallized in my mind, I envision, right? In Voltron, they used to have the flaming sword and they would cut through the monster. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? I envision these seraphims so these seraphims are like angels, but they're fiery angels, and they have this sword full of fire. And any negative thought that pop up, I always envision the seraphims cutting it in half. Boom! You feel me? And destroying it. Never let it crystallize. Never let it set in and lock in. You have to
Mm.
destroy it. And I've always figured out and found out that when you utilize fire to destroy this shit, it does something different to it.
Mm.
You know what I mean? So that's your own personal daily walk that you can utilize to be
Mm.
dismissive of and shadow work. And then
Mm.
if you got to go back into time, into the crevices of your mind, utilize that circle of fire visualization. You know what I'm saying? To laugh out the sting of humiliation.
Hey man, Blue just hit us with some gems. I hope y'all, yeah, man. I'm gonna utilize especially the one with the clowns. Like,
Yeah,
wow.
Dick Gregory said that his key, you know, one of his main things that he was able to utilize, right, that helped his career catapult to where it got to, and even the way that he was able to get out of that first event that he was in front of the Klan. They put him in a they put him in front of the Klan at the Playboy Theater or something like that. I forget. And he said he found a way for them to laugh with him and not laugh at him. And that was his neutralizing, right, strategy to win over unwinnable crowds.
Shout
Right?
out to the elder,
Shout out to the ancestor. Yes.
the ancestor, Dick
Savvy
Gregory.
laugh. Yeah.
Savvy laugh, indeed. Oh, Shanti said Rich always look like he sleep. Yeah, that's just my look. You know, they always say that. I don't be sleeping. They say that all the time. My eyes. It's my eyes, y'all.
Yeah,
That's
that's just
just
Rich, yo.
yeah. That's just
He's being his
I being
unique,
myself. My
genuine
unique,
self.
yeah. But
You feel me? And if he would attempt to do anything other than that, that's gonna put him in a precarious position at some point because he's not being true to himself.
Yo, I seen they talking about Dave Chappelle. What you thought about Dave Chappelle? They want to know what you thought about Dave Chappelle last night.
I felt that the special was genius. He's a tactician at what he does, and he's the best at what he does. And again, it's in the line in the lineage of other controversial comedians, and we've identified the fact that there are two spectrums, right, or two lanes the comedians come out of. First, it was Dick Gregory, and they created Bill Cosby as a countermeasure or counteraction to Dick Gregory. So both of these comedians have bloodlines that we can identify, and then there's comedians that merge in between them. Like Richard Pryor merged. He came out first as a clone of Bill Cosby. Right. And then when he found his truth and his freedom and his voice and his unique character, right, he started delving more into the Dick Gregory lane. Same can be said about Eddie Murphy. Eddie Murphy started out in the Dick Gregory lane and went into the Bill Cosby lane. You know what I'm saying? So Dave Chappelle, is from the Dick Gregory lane. You dig what I'm saying? And they utilize political commentary. Cat Williams is in the Dick Gregory lane. You know what I'm saying? Political commentary, very genius political commentary. It's an observation about things in public that stick out like sore thumbs. You know what I'm saying? And they get to punch in the sore thumb. You know how the boxing shit, they got them plastic dummies and shit. Niggas be boxing them joints. Yeah, they just boxing the fuck out of these sore thumbs that are just sticking out in public. So again, the going says what? You could take a poke, but you can't take a joke. I mean, come on, son.
Indeed. All right. Shout out to Dave Chappelle. I didn't see it yet, but I seen that clip, so I definitely
okay, so let's talk about real quick. Maybe we'll save that for when you see it. Right? But who been saying, look at the irony here, right? We've been talking about deaf culture for how long? Right? And the fact that it's the preferred form of entertainment amongst our people. So the baby can build an entire career off of killing a 19-year-old in Walmart that look just like him. Right? And we applaud that. We celebrate it. He was the most streamed artist. We show up to his concert. This nigga was overbooked.
Yeah.
Right? To come up in them venues and talk about black homicide, black death, black murder. Right? It's black diamonds. It's the biggest export around the planet. And that's entertainment, period. So that's coupled with not only rap, but that goddamn basketball and football and all that stupid shit too. This is who these niggas are. Right? At a time when the homicide rate across the country amongst melanated children is off the charts. but you don't want to take the violent content music off of the charts because these babies is dying and there's fucking soundtracks to this shit. But you want to cancel him once again because he offended a marginalized community, right? That is getting so much political power at this time and doing what with it? Behaving like white folks. Right? Come on now. Please don't get me started.
Blue got hype for that one, man. Blue got hype for that one, man. Wow. They want to know where can they purchase that Messenger's headband, the crown you got on. Where can they purchase it?
19 Keys is the proprietor behind these. And you could go to his page, and I'm sure that you can find the site via the page. It's crowns.com, I might believe, but yeah, definitely if you go to 19 Keys page, you can find out how to get the crown.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Indeed. Shout out to the brother 19 Keys.
Shout out to Keys, yes.
All right, let's get in a few more questions, family. Y'all got a few more questions. What Confusion? What you talking about? Them alpha? Oh yeah. definitely, sis. Um. Okay. Uh, is it possible that certain drugs like LSD and DMT and shrooms can take you into higher states of consciousness to reach an enlightened state faster?
Um, quite possibly. Yeah, but I'm not sitting up here. I'm not gonna sit up here advocating. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna do that. You have to have, again, your own personal discretion about what you're getting into and why you're getting into it. The why is the biggest thing here. You feel me? Because it's like, what do you want to jump past certain steps to get to enlightenment? I don't think that it's something that you can necessarily call your own. You know, if you didn't go through the full experience of it. You know what I'm saying? You getting there to do what and with what? And these are your own, you can answer. I'm not gonna answer that question for you. You know what I mean? You yourself have to sit with yourself and ask, what is your why? You know what I mean? You wanna obtain these things, you know what I mean, based on what? And why is the necessity to get there that much quicker? You know what I'm saying? I think that it's a road that's worthy of, you traveling, but take your time. Take your time. You know what I'm saying? Because
also like not gonna like your enlightened experience or that experience is not like after you take that medicine or whatever that is like that forever.
yeah,
You know?
it's a momentary high.
But it always like for me it's like
You feel me?
it reminds me of like it's a goal. Like whenever I'm trying to do it for myself,
It's
I know where I want to go.
aspirational, right? It becomes something that lasted for a moment, but now it's aspirational. So I started back to where I left because now I have to go on the long road and journey back to enlightenment for where I just came from that I got a glimmer of. But it's what? It comes back to the fact that I still got to do the work.
Yeah, so even if you have like those, if you take, have one of those trips and you're done or whatever, you back to normal life. When you go into your meditation, when you're doing those type of grounding and centering things, it's like that's what it's about getting to that place without having to
without having to take anything that's external to your own inner DMT. You know what I'm saying? I think that people are flirting with the eternal essence of death. And I feel that you're gonna attain your enlightenment when you check up out of here. Right? And then you can hold that charge forever, as opposed to you just getting a glimpse of it and then you chasing the shit until you come up out of here. It's like, yo, you gonna get what you're looking for. Take your time.
Indeed. Natural high is the best high though. Like just to be
Mhm.
naturally high,
That
it's an
enlightenment,
amazing
that
feeling.
enlightenment that you get is always like the most simplest thing. So you don't really need something to remind you of that.
Mhm.
It's like simple as hell. Like the experience I had with the child in the bufo. It's like I don't have to do it every weekend to know. Like I
Mhm.
hold that experience with me. So anytime I forget,
You
I go
reminded,
back to that and
right?
I'm like, I remember what it's all about now.
Absolutely.
Indeed. All right. Let me see if y'all got any more questions in the chat, man. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Brother wanted to know about the LSD. Uh, you no, that's not. I don't even understand that question. Okay, let me ask. Somebody says I'm married with two kids, a 6-year-old and 4-year-old girl, and yes, I am being pressured to get something I don't want. Is it possible to reverse it through a diet?
Um, just this morning, my mother has sent me a link, and this link was one of the most detailed and descriptive ones I've seen in a while, with remedies of ridding that toxin from the body. And it was very
Mm,
descriptive. It was very detailed. You know what I'm saying? It was like 3 or 4 different protocols, not
mm,
just one. Um, so yes, there are people that are saying that it can be removed. You know what I'm saying? But you know, I yo, like I've been doing my research on this stuff, and yeah, I would not want to be on the other side attempting to get back. You feel me?
mm,
I would not want to initially introduce any of that into my vessel, into my being. But I understand that they have people's back against the wall, making lifetime and lifestyle decisions, lifetime, lifeline, you know, livelihood decisions, and they got them children that they got. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a quagmire. You know what I mean? It's a quagmire. But there are people who are speaking on how to rid yourself of these toxins. You can DM me, um, young lady, at Blue Pillar 44. That's on Instagram. You get my cash app up there too.
mm. Let me
Thank you.
put it Blue Pillar 44, right?
Yes, sir.
For sure. Dollar sign.
Um, yeah, man, it's unfortunate, bro. It's a lot.
Um, hold up. Somebody wants to know. Let me. Blue and Swift. You must have seen that show where I told you my middle name is Swift. Was peace to the brother. Have y'all met
Yeah,
anyone that ever
Panic blew that
dreamed?
up.
Yeah, panic, right? You see it. Have y'all met anyone that ever dreams of being on spaceships?
Yeah, absolutely.
Talk to us about that, Blue. That
Um,
experience.
yeah, he asked, have I met anyone that has dreams of being on spaceships? I absolutely have. I've spoken to so many people this year alone who have different stories, about dreams that they've had of being on spaceships
Have
and the
you ever
different
been?
things. Huh?
Have you ever dreamed of being on a spaceship?
Not the way that they describe. No,
Okay.
not the way that they describe. Because these are more than just dreams. These are like, it's astral. I heard
Mm,
Young Pharaoh, right? He was on Tasha K's talking about his experience, and
mm,
he had a dream state, somewhat of an astral dream state of him being on a spaceship. But yeah, I've heard repetitive stories about it, and there's different things that happen, with people on these ships. You know,
mm. Indeed. Shout out to everybody who's been on the ships
yes,
before.
that they say the message is on the ship. You feel me? I've spoken to people who said that they've met the messenger on the ship before. You know
Yo,
what
Blue,
I mean? I've been to Harlem on 129th and Adam Clayton, I believe. That church is right there on the corner. I think '06 or '05, Farrakhan came to Harlem. And that's when he gave his speech about him being on a pyramid top in Mexico and him getting, you know what I'm saying, beamed to the ship. And he told us, he said this in front of everybody. And I was like, oh, this nigga's a real one. You know what I'm saying? Just for him to share that shit. I knew that he wasn't, you know what I'm saying? Because I had already had some episodes. And I was like, I know that you ain't lying, but it takes a lot of courage for you to stand in front of your people and speak your truth and be a unique version of yourself when I know you're going to get castigated for this. Feel me? And the people just did not get it. You know, unfortunately.
Went right over their heads, huh?
They're very earthbound. So it took so many people, you know what I'm saying, that threw them. It was like, what? This nigga, what? They didn't, you know. I guess that's a plus degree or something, because it ain't hit everybody how it should have. You know what I'm saying?
They want to know when is the next time you're going to Mount Shasta, Blue.
Possibly November.
Possibly. You just came from out there, right?
Yes, I did. August, Lionsgate.
August, right, Lionsgate, right. Would you ever get property out there, Blue? In Mount Shasta?
Yeah. We're looking at that.
They had that big fire out there, right?
Yes.
Last year or something?
Yes. I mean, there's fires out there right now.
Okay.
I put a story on my page the other day about the fires. For the first time ever, they reached over to the sequoia forest where the oldest trees on the planet is at. They call it Ancient Ones. And it destroyed 44 of them. You know what I'm saying? So these are unprecedented times. You know, when you see ancestors like this getting damaged in forest fires that are unprecedented for the amount of damage that they have caused this year alone, coupled with the damage that they caused last year. So there's a lot of things that are coming to an end and checking up out of here. This is a renewal process. You feel me? I don't look at it as death. I look at it as renewal, and definitely a sign of the times. You know.
Indeed.
And yeah, you know, and people in Shasta don't have dreams of UFOs. Goddamn it. There's physical accounts.
They see the UFOs.
Shit, yeah, and shit like that.
It's different out there.
Different, yeah, it's different. Ain't no dreams. You know, this is real. We seen about 50 of them on that last trip.
I remember you was telling me.
She right here.
Yeah,
she ain't
yeah.
a lot
You was saying you and your queen.
Everybody. Yeah, but I mean, you know, these are the people here that can tell you what time it is. But how many you seen, baby? Is there any level of doubt, or you know, is that what you seen? Goddamn it, or was it some lights or some drones?
Nah, bro. I seen drones before, but there was one in particular. I can tell everybody right. It was one that it was almost like showing out. Like if you didn't believe us, bitch, you gonna believe us now. That shit shot across the sky and slowed down to like damn near a complete stop and was visible enough. Like to me, it looked like it reminded me of Soul Train, the theme song. Like when you see the Soul Train.
Ah, yeah,
it was almost like
I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
and,
wow.
And it stopped, and then it went, but it went into nowhere. Like it's not like it disappeared. It's like it went into nowhere. Like I don't know where but that was crazy. I've never seen no shit like that in my life.
Now, this is a girl on Franklin Avenue.
Yeah, never.
In Brooklyn.
Yeah.
I couldn't pay her to tell you niggas this. Okay? She's speaking her truth.
And even last year we went to Jacksonville, we saw a little activity.
But she's seen a few things, you know, hanging out with me already. But this shit,
nah, they showed up.
It was
showed out.
We talking about from 1 in the morning until the sun came up.
Jeez.
On Lionsgate, the sun came up on the 8th.
Because it was mountains.
And it was quadrants. It was quadrants of them. So there was fleets on 4 different sides. Man. And they was going bonkers.
They were making formations, and they were perfect. It was just, I've never seen no shit like that. And they showed up, it was smoky out there. That's what we kept complaining about the whole trip. Because the fires, it was so smoky. Even when we went to the mountain, you know, it was a little bit hard because of the smoke. But this particular night, it was the night of the Lions game.
So somebody named Miller Max said they was there, so they're confirming it.
Yeah. Shout out to Miller Max.
Yeah, Miller Max said they was there.
This is a fact, bro.
Damn.
I don't speak things that are not factual. You know what I'm saying?
Let's take 2 more questions before we get out of here. This one is from Bronze Beauty. I appreciate and everybody who gave a super chat donation, I appreciate it. Everybody who gave a cash app, I appreciate it, family. Make sure you support the content. If not tonight, sometime whenever you can, show support, hit a like button, do something, family. Your attention is support, so I appreciate that within itself. Let's get to the question from Bronze Beauty. She wants to know, what do you think it means for the seer who sees 2 aliens, inner earth beings, in a live picture of someone? Whoa, you shit. What a question. She's seen 2 aliens in a live picture of someone, and she's a seer.
In a live picture of someone? Like, what do you mean? Like, I put a video up the other day of the president of Pfizer, and he was talking, and the alien shit was coming out of his neck. Do you mean something like that? I don't understand what you mean.
I guess, yeah, a picture of someone who's still alive. Yeah, I guess like that, yeah. I guess you would.
I mean, you know, aliens be aliens. You know, reptilians be reptilian out here. So I don't. The question has to be a little bit more clear. Because I don't, if she saw it, I would say to her to don't doubt what you saw. You feel me? But where you want to take it from there? I don't understand.
If you want to elaborate, Bronze Beauty.
If you want to elaborate, you know what I'm saying?
Let me know. I seen a question, Crypto Egregor. I seen you had okay, so Crypto, in the meantime, Bronze Beauty, if you want to elaborate on that, you can. In the meantime, let's get to Crypto Egregor wants to know, have you ever done high dose psilocybin Baba Kalindi weed doses?
No.
Any reason why not?
I mean, Baba Kalindi is like 20 grams and, you know what I'm saying, things of that nature. Yeah, my whole thing has always been about setting. You know what I'm saying? It has to be the right setting. And I haven't been in a situation, a trusting situation like that. You know what I mean? Where I could do 20 grams. You know what I'm saying? I don't have a prescribed destination to get to at a particular time where I'm gonna do 20 grams. You feel me?
Somebody keep asking about the science of the 16 shades of black. Do you know? I don't know what that is. Do you know what they're referring to? No. Yeah, I'm not sure what you're referring to, SB Original Man. I'm not sure what you're referring to. I've seen you put that several times. But listen, family, I want to get one more since Blue couldn't get going on the other one. So hit me with one more question, y'all, before we get out of here. Also,
I got a few things I want to share from my notes.
You got Blue, share that now then. Go ahead.
Again, these are different techniques that we can utilize to get closer in contact with the us that we want to know, right? So if you had 3 words to describe yourself, you know what I'm saying? Or if you had 3 words to describe the person that you want to be, what would those 3 words be? So this is your homework assignment, family. You know what I'm saying? On your own personal journey to get to know yourself, right? If you had to choose 3 words to describe the person that you want to be, what would those 3 words be? Right? And you have to understand that in order for you to create a new you have to reconcile with the you that exists right now. Right? So, in order for you to exist or reconcile the you that exists right now, you have to acknowledge your negative traits. Right? You have to acknowledge your negative traits, because the minute you acknowledge them, then you have opened up and allowed some level of remedy to come in where you can, you know what I mean, deal with that particular level of negativity. Now, let's say that I say, okay, I know that I procrastinate, right? Then I have been very open and direct with myself and identified this particular negative trait. So the next role would be, all right, identifying why, you know what I'm saying, do I procrastinate in particular situations. And that inquiry will lead me to another series of answers, and that's going to lead me to another series of questions. You feel me? Until it's all said and done, you know, and I have a better understanding about why these things occur, right? Then I've magnetized a solution to me that's going to help me solve that issue. Another suggestion that we have, this a main suggestion, this is one of the top ones, is to write your own eulogy, right? And what happens when you write your own eulogy is that now you're able to see on paper, once you finish, okay, what ultimately will almost look like an instructional roadmap for you to get to where it is that you want to go, or how you want to see yourself show up in the world, right? So practice that, because what it initially first is going to help you do is going to get you past the fear of death. It's going to have you understand that this is a finite existence, and one day this shit is going to come to an end. What it also is going to do is help you understand that you don't want nobody else telling your story. If you have the opportunity to tell it, you need to seize that opportunity and tell your own story, even if it's just a eulogy, right? And what it also allows you to do is you're going to be able to see yourself, right? Your future self at that, because you're going to write things that you haven't necessarily done yet into that eulogy. You know what I mean? And then there you go. You be like, oh shit, that's my whole roadmap in front of me. Let me get to those things. You know what I mean? Let me knock those things out. So practice that. Write your eulogy. You know what I mean? Now, you also need to sit down with yourself outside of identifying the 3 words that you want to describe yourself as, the person who you want to become. You want to identify primarily, right now in the present, what are your superpowers, right? What power exists within you? You feel me? Even if it's something that's dormant and you haven't utilized yet, you know what I mean? You need to identify it. And then there might be something that's very subtle that we might be overlooking, and all the while that shit is a superpower. And you like, yo, that's a superpower. Like, for instance, I have a superpower ability to listen, right? I didn't say that I could lift up 500,000 pounds and shit like that, and you know what I'm saying, leap bounds with, outrun bullets and none of that. I just said that I have the ability to superpower. My superpower is my ability to listen. You know what I'm saying? And once you identify it, then you activate it and you utilize it. You know what I mean? And you hone it and you become that much more perfected in your particular superpower. And you own it. You identify it. Yo, that's my superpower. I own that shit. I'm gonna be the best listener. Okay? Again, clean slates and new beginnings. Right? Once you clean your closet out, you can start over fresh. You feel me? But until then, it's gonna be a lot of clutter. And you're gonna be dealing with repetitive cycles. Right? You have to clean your closet out. You know what I'm saying? You have to deal with self-auditing. What are the things about me that I need to work on? What needs to be changed? What needs to be thrown out with the spring cleaning, right? So this is dealing with your own personal honesty. You have to be able to look at yourself and identify what these things are. All right. That's not something that I can necessarily point out for you. Judgment is a prison. Okay. So you're gonna have to be able somehow, some way, especially in a society such as this, to overcome judgment. Why? Right? Because judgment is built into some people's shit, and it's very hard for them to let go. But why is it necessary for you to let go of judgment when you are on a quest to know yourself? Because if you don't know you yet, how the fuck can you possibly know somebody else? Right? And if you don't know them, how can you judge them? Because you don't know what they operating off of. You don't know what intent is behind them doing whatever it is that they're doing, right? So how can you possibly judge somebody that you don't know? And what business you got knowing somebody without knowing your goddamn self first, right? That speaks to you have utilized, your time, your energy, and your attention in all of the wrong ways, right? And society will set us up like that, where we like experts in somebody else's life and know very little about our own. You know what I'm saying? So don't fall into that trap. You know what I mean? Judgment is a prison for the soul, right? And the shit is heavy as hell. You can't go, right, through what it is that we consider the transmigration of the soul, carrying all of that baggage and luggage. And that's what judgment does to you. If you want to judge somebody, it's almost like you taking co-responsibility of that person's endeavor and their journey and their plight, right? And you can't possibly do that. So do not fall into judgment, okay? That shit is a prison. Discernment is different than judgment. Observation is different than judgment. Having an opinion is different than judgment. Speaking on facts is different than judgment, right? So release yourself from the prison of judgment, okay? Yeah, and again, question yourself. Ask yourself all of the difficult questions. You know what I mean? That practice is best done once again in the mirror, right? Or in darkness, sitting with yourself, right? And if you can't sit with yourself in silence, why the hell would somebody want to spend time with you, right? If you can't stand you, then why are you packaging and presenting yourself to the rest of the planet as someone or something that people want to entertain? You know what I'm saying? Think about that shit. If you can't stand you, why the hell is somebody else compelled to want to have to stand you as well? Okay? They're going to treat you how you treat yourself. I know that you've heard that. It's probably sounding very cliche at this point, but it's the truth. So if you can't sit in silence, if you can't sit in stillness, if you can't listen to your own mind, then how do you even know what your own voice is? You know what I'm saying? How could you ever identify that shit? If you can't do them things, you expect somebody else to do it for you? It's not going to work like that. And we see a lot of that. That's why, social media is such an attraction. You know what I mean? They can spend so much time doing things that are non-rewarding, delving into other people's affairs, into their personal life without dealing with their own shit. Okay? Another thing I want to share, morning mantras, right? It's imperative that you wake up and you have your morning routine set in place, right? I have a morning routine set in place. I need to get back to it though, but I'm still sharing. I normally go to sleep between the hours of 10 and 11, and I get up with the sun. And when I get up with the sun, right, technically, you want to get up with the sun, you want to put water into your body, room temperature, right, 32 ounces preferably, and then you get outside and ground yourself, okay? And all the while I'm grounding myself, I'm doing light calisthenics, you know what I'm saying? Getting my light workout in, grounding myself. I don't have no electronics with me, okay? Even when I was sleeping, the electronics was not with me. They was in another room, so I could set myself to the circadian rhythm of the planet and not allow this blue light toxicity to trick my body into thinking that it's 3 p.m. or that it's 10 a.m. instead of 10 p.m. Okay. And then when I finish grounding and I finish sun gazing, right, then I'm coming back in, you know, I'm taking whatever minerals that I have set up, preferably I probably already took my goal before I went out. If I didn't, I'm taking it when I come back in because this is perfect to take if you're going to be sun gazing. Trust, right? Even if you're going to be grounding, raising the electrical conductivity in your body so you can ground and suck up that electrical magnetism from the planet. When I get back in, you know what I mean? Then I am entertaining either making a smoothie, you know what I'm saying, or, eating some of the food that a beautiful baby done made for me, Then I'm picking up the goddamn phone. You feel me? But that shit does not have precedence
Yeah.
initially in my day to day. In the beginning of my day, I have to check in with me first
Mm.
before I get on the phone, because then that shit is gonna take me into an out of body experience. What I mean by that? Oh, I'm looking at a nigga picture. I'm in the passenger seat. Shorty on a yacht. I'm on a yacht. You on a jet. You doing all these things. Your mind is going all of these goddamn places.
Mm-hmm.
You feel me? The
Mm-hmm.
magnetism of your imagination is taking you all these places.
Mm.
But you need to be, in your body. You need to come back into your physical being first. You need to consecrate that relationship and ground yourself, the relationship with this planet, sun gaze, the relationship with the cosmos. And then you could deal with the BS on this planet. It ain't going nowhere, right? It's not going anywhere. So that's like the daily regimen. But you should, when you get in the mirror, when you come out your shower, right? Get in the mirror, ask yourself, what are 3 things that you can do daily to impact the world? 3, right? And what is that gonna do? It's gonna make you hyper focused, right? You got to put your thinking cap on. You have to make your observations. You know what I'm saying? And then you become intentional through the day because you don't want to let you down. If you let you down, goddamn it, what good are you gonna be to anybody else? You feel me? So, and it's best to attempt to learn something new every day, right? So then that goes into also the daily regimen of brain hacking, right? This is Limitless from Jim Quick. So what I learned from him is I utilize a brain hack by brushing my teeth with my opposite hand. Okay, and what does that do? That engages or it allows for neuroplasticity. It allows for my brain to create new neural networks for me to learn new things. You feel me? So I am attempting to learn something new, even if it's very minute. Every single day, I'm expanding on it. Why? Because ultimately, it will compound. So at the end of the year, shit, I learned a lot. If I learned a little bit every day, you dig what I'm saying? And as of lately, I've been going to YouTube. That's been my university. You know what I mean? And I've been learning how to build tiny homes and shit like that. Earthen homes and
Yeah.
monolithic domes and stuff. You feel me?
Yo, when you get on your healing shit, you be dropping gems, Blue. This how you was during that Kundalini joint we did, bro. You be going,
Yeah.
you be in your bag for real, for real. You was just you dropped some shit tonight, man. Blue dropped some shit tonight. It's been quiet. It's been, but he dropped some. You know what? We ain't been talking about no pop culture. We just been on some straight. You know what I'm saying?
Look,
Shit.
again, you know, if we are not doing things that are helping the viewership and the family become better versions of themselves, then we have failed ultimately. Because, at some point it's like, all right, we going through the current event, we're going through the entertainment. But again, this is the conscious community. So consciousness is awareness. And what are you more responsible for being aware of than yourself? You know what I'm saying? It begins and it ends with you. Then you could come outside to play, right? Then we can play, Legos and connect the dots. And, you could bring your supreme personality to the table. But the fact is, you got all of these broken pieces of glass, you know what I'm saying? Attempting to build something that's like, yo, that shit gonna fall apart. Like you're not whole yet. You're broken. You're in pieces. And we just got a community full of broken pieces. But it's like, let's work on making better people, you know what I'm saying, out of the people that are here. Because I believe in us. I know that we are dynamic individuals, you know what I'm saying? We are the chosen because we've chosen ourselves. And especially now, going through what it is that we're going through, you know, um, this discrimination, this unnecessary discrimination that, we find ourselves going through. Um, these are those tests, you know what I'm saying, that are going to create triumphant titans. You know what I'm saying? Unprecedented, you know, individuals will be born out of this. You know what I mean? You got the whole world against you. And it's okay, right? Because you still are standing on the side of truth, right? And righteousness. And this is the month of Libra. We're under this new moon energy. And Libra stands for justice, stands for balance, stands for my. You feel me? And I'm always gonna side with that. You know what I mean? So I'm firm on my convictions. And yeah, I'm even gonna get even more on my regimen because I know what it's calling for. I know what we heading into, and the strong will survive. You know what I mean? But you have to be strong. And that strength is gonna come from you overcoming your weak force, your weaker self, your lower self, your undisciplined self. Case in point, I shared a video today. This is very important to me. I interviewed Mike Tyson in '04, and I tell the story often. And again, I don't know if niggas be thinking I'm lying and shit like that. But I was like, I interviewed Mike, right, in '04, and I asked Mike, what was the most profound thing that you ever learned, right? That somebody ever told you, right? Tell me the most profound thing, right? Because he done read mad books. He done been around, you know what I'm saying, the top tier of people on this planet, right? And I know he's a people person. So I'm like, yo, what's the most profound thing that you've ever learned? And he said it was something very simple. And it was taught to him by Customato. And he said, Cus taught me discipline. And I said, can you define that? Like, what's discipline? And he said, discipline is doing what you don't love. I mean, doing what you don't like you love it. It's like, damn, that's kind of profound. I played it out in my mind and I was like, shit, doing what you don't like you love it. That takes a lot of discipline. And then I found the clip. He repeated it on Joe Rogan's podcast. You know what I'm saying? So I had posted it today and it helped so many people out that were going through something that needed to hear that in real time to really, really dig in. And I can't tell you how many times I have utilized that quote in my own personal space in my mind to help me not only get through things, but like get above things, lose myself in the love of something that I don't like, that I forgot that I didn't like it. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
strangle the fucking angle. You're like, oh shit. By the time you wake up, up from it, you done overdid it. So it's so important that we understand the power and the strength of the mind. You know what I'm saying? And how once we fully integrate it into the body, how those two things work so perfectly together, right? In the spirit, because you're gonna need that spirit to not cave in or give in or fold under pressure. You know what I'm saying? Pressure makes diamonds or bust pipes, man. I'm looking forward to seeing you niggas glitter, okay? Like VVS.
Indeed, man. On that note, family, we about to wrap it up.
Yeah,
Great,
we got the Woke
great show.
Fest, Woke Fest, Woke Fest
Indeed,
3 in Atlanta this strong end.
indeed.
I got, information about it on my page. You can pull up. We got Alta Candy at the end of the month here in Atlanta, October 24th. Shout out to the Alta Candy family. And also, very, very imperative, y'all, do your invocations tonight. You know what I'm saying? Let me give you one last example. So I'm going to walk with you through this. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to hold your hands on this first one, but you got to take it and run with it because you can latch on, to the energy that's present right now in this universe and get some things done. You know what I mean? Like, send your requests up to the big homie, right? Work that nigga. Tell him what you need and tell him how you need it, right? And then turn your back on it and forget it and just watch it manifest. You know what I'm saying? You don't watch paint dry. So, again, the affirmative is I, right? I. And then you put yourself into the conversation. My full name, as given to me by Mama Pill, is Paul Eric Moreland. Right? I, Paul Eric Moreland, and then quickly, right? I don't know what's that called, an adjective or something? Quickly, adverb invokes the increase of my crypto portfolio across all platforms. Okay? But I would be even more specific and I would put a number to it and I would name those platforms, right? The more specific, the better, right? The more specific, the better. You feel me? You write this stuff down, 10 of them, and you forget about it, right? Preferably, like I said, utilizing paper and pen, pencil if you can get it, okay? Because it's very key utilizing that lead and that pencil on paper. Very, very key. It's very alchemical, right? And it is the pretty much it is the underlying linchpin of how magic and spells are actually done. Okay? But you are, you're spelling out your own invocations, you're spelling out your own success, right? You're spelling out your own intentions for your success in this universe, and the universe is compelled to respond to you. Okay? So with that, I want to say peace, love, and light.
Indeed. On that note, we getting out of here, family. Make sure you check out blackmagicuniversity.com. Make sure you go to
Okay.
goldwater.com and check out the Woke Fest. You know what I'm saying? You talked about the who's coming to Alta Candy next? Who's what y'all got?
Oh, we working on it, but we are having for Alta Candy. It's gonna be like a costume, like a cosplayer type of situation.
Yeah. Dope.
Yeah. People could dress up as the legends, the ancestors, the orishas, the deities. You know what I'm saying? Whatever you inspired by, we're advocating that you come out. You know what I'm saying? And put on.
I'm sorry, Blue Lask. I want you to answer this. Empress card, print or cursive? There is a difference. What when you write in? Do you write in print or in cursive?
I do both, but as I'm looking at the last few that I've done, they was in print. I got a mean cursive game, so sometimes I script it in cursive, and I have this hybrid writing system where I use kind of like it look like both of them combined. But yeah, I would say for clarity purposes, again, do print, but once you write it, let it go. Don't necessarily destroy it or burn it, but put it somewhere where you ain't got to look at it or remind yourself about it. Give it to the universe and let go. You know what I mean? This time is about letting go as well. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
Indeed. Wow, what a show, family. Once again, we getting out of here. I want to thank everybody for staying with us. We've been on here for about 2 hours and 30 minutes. and it's been very informative, family. I hope you took notes. I did. Blue, you just reminded me of a book that I haven't read in over probably about 8 years. I had a book. I got it from East West way back in the day. Little blue book. It's called Personal Magnetism. You remember them joints, some little blue
Yeah,
ones?
yeah. I
Yes.
remember the blue joints.
Yeah,
Life changes.
yeah.
Shout out to Cafunia. She used to work
Yeah,
there.
she used to work there. Yeah, that's where I first
Yeah.
met Cafunia at East
Yeah,
West. Yeah.
yeah.
Indeed. So I'm gonna go check that out in my bookshelf right now. But listen, family, thanks for joining us once again, Brother Rich, Blue Pillar, the 44 God. We getting out of here, family. Peace.
Peace.